here didn't want me to touch. I think he wanted to actually see how this one was going to come out. Very difficult. So people put on a Valspar natural or clear on this, and what happens is I don't know whether they put polyurethane or something in it that makes it very difficult to get off, but you can see where we've sanded the deck, little dark and light in spots. But when you come here, you can see it's really hard to get it off the railing, that bright yellow, whereas we've sanded the top. You can see it here. So it's kind of in the grain and very hard to remove. Now, just so we're aware, sodium hydroxide and potassium hydroxide don't touch this product, okay? And the reason it does is because of the way it's made. So we use the solvent paste stripper, our Stripper Plus, DRP Stripper Plus, which takes everything off, including polyurethanes, and it struggles with this. So somebody came and tried to power wash this, by the way, and they tried to use the pressure washer to take it off, and they did this area. So if you can see this right here, they dug into it. And then they realized that, hey, this isn't the right way to do this. That's why that's sanded and looks a little differently. So you're like, okay, well, how are we going to get this off? Well, we used the Stripper Plus. We got it off. We reapplied it a second time. Took about 80% of it off. We still had 20%. At 20%, I can't sand the 20%. I got to sand the whole thing. So I sand the whole floor off, and I already knew what it was so I had already got the right price for this, even though it's a small deck. So we still have some on here. So what are we going to do? We can't go back on with something penetrating, which is what we normally use, because it's easier. So you're thinking, and when you have a lot of knowledge about different products and so forth, it's pretty good, because then you can, say, okay, well, what would work here? What wouldn't work here? And if you look over here, I actually took, if anybody's familiar with log cabins, we do a lot of cabin work. One of the companies that is used, I'm promoting another company, is Permachink, and that's their Lifeline exterior, okay? And if you look over here, oops, that's almost a dead match. So what happens is, I'm gonna take this stain, I have a little bit of stain, I have my little coffee cup I use with a small sample brush, and watch right here, and you can see how it blends. Now, if I put something penetrating in it, it's going to go through completely, and you'll still be able to see the inconsistencies. But when I can do this, look at that. Dead match. See the difference? Yet when I tried it with something else, I either had to go too dark, or where I used the penetrating, believe it or not, this was already stained, and look, you still see the darker stuff on the top. So not everybody's a wizard, and you have to figure these things out. So that's why I make these videos, so people can understand that when you have the Valspar, that you can do this. And not just Valspar, happens with Bayer, it happens with other products as well, where you got to figure it out. Hey, I can't use, okay, somebody said, well, this is the best stain. Sometimes that's not the stain you can use. If it happens to be the best stain, that's great. But if it's not, then you have to figure out, well, what can you use and what's going to work the best? And just so you know, I'm redoing the 4x4 post completely because I didn't want to leave it half done. Otherwise, it would show a line. But anyway, you can, just figure these things out. Like, what would be the best? How can I get this to look right? And this person had brand new wood on this, and he wanted it to look brand new again. He's beside himself that he put the Valspar on there and was told that was the greatest product, whatever. And then when he went to redo it, he had problems. And then the contractors had problems, and they couldn't get it. So lucky for him, the Wizard's real close by. So we were able to knock this out. We still get paid for what we would. Some people would have walked away from it. Some people would have just bid it and said, hey, you know what? This is a $3,000 job that I did for a few bucks. So this one worked out great. I'm Everett Abrams, the Wizard of Wood. Thanks for watching the video.